You know, Mufasa was cool and all. But honestly, he just let those wildebeests walk all over him. The Lion King. Directed by Roger Ellers and Rob Minkoff. Released in 1994, The Lion King was Disney's 32nd animated feature film. Over 600 artists and craftsmen worked on this project. More than 1 million drawings and 1,197 hand-painted backgrounds were created for this film. For years, children have thrilled to the adventures of our favorite lion cub, who after the tragic death of his father, sees his spirit in the clouds, telling him to take his rightful place as King of Pride Rock. And with the help of his friends, a silly bird, and a wise old baboon sage, they fight off the evil villain, a scarred lion with a black mane and dark brown fur, and his army of hyena henchmen. Oh, I'm not talking about the Lion King. I'm talking about Kimba the White Lion, the 1965 anime based on the manga comic named Jungle Emperor Leo by Osamu Tezuka. Charlie Fink, a producer at Disney, said Lion King was based on Bambi and Hamlet, and that they never heard of Kimba until after the movie opened. But with a name like Fink, can you really trust the guy? Sounds to me like he's lying. Because according to Tom Saito, an animator on the film, he grew up watching Kimba along with many other artists who worked on the project. Another animator named Asdeo Miyamoto said when he first saw the storyboards for Lion King, he was, quote, taken aback because of their likeness to Tezuka's work. Copycats or no, The Lion King is one of, if not the best Disney film of all time. Filled with breathtaking animation, iconic imagery, and an amazing score by composer Hans Zimmer, before he just started using foghorns for his music, the opening of this film is a work of art that could stand on its own. After the opening number, we meet the villain of the picture, King Mufasa's evil younger brother, Scar, who looks like a lion version of Prince, played to devilish perfection by Jeremy Irons. Tim Curry and Malcolm McDowell were also considered for the part. Ironically, in an animated children's movie from the 90s, we get a better villain than most modern MCU films. Fun fact, Liam Neeson, who later voiced the lion Aslan in the Chronicles of Narnia, was offered the part of Mufasa, but he turned it down. So while audiences didn't get Qui-Gon, we traded up for none other than Darth Vader himself, James Earl Jones. A central theme of the film is how we are all connected in the great circle of life. A phrase most people associate with the Lion King, but it first appeared in The Land Before Time in 1988, when old Rudder tries to console Littlefoot as he mourns the death of his mother. I tell you, they might as well paint targets on the parents in these kids' movies. Speaking of The Land Before Time, the elephant graveyard scene in The Lion King feels like something straight out of a Don Bluth film. Yes, sir, no bones about it, it's dead on. Turns out Scar won't be winning any Uncle of the Year awards, as he sent Simba and his future girlfriend Nala to be eaten by hyenas. And just when they're about to turn our two little munchkins into a cub sandwich, Mufasa shows up and kicks the crap out of those chuckleheads. But Scar is a persistent cuss, and one failed attempt on Simba's life won't stop him from putting a hit out on his nephew and older brother. Scar sends Simba into the wildebeest stomping grounds, hoping to use his nephew as a stepping stone on his way to becoming king. And after a tragic game of footsie with the stampeding herd, Mufasa is killed. From the thrilling build-up to the stampede, to Scar's sadistic, long live the king as he sends his brother to his death, this whole sequence is nothing short of cinematic genius. And while Simba is alone crying over the loss of his father, Scar comes into his own as not only the best Disney villain of all time, but one of the great villains in cinema history. With calculated subtlety, he manipulates Simba into believing his father's death was his fault. After which we're given the most chilling Disney villain moment in history, as Scar says blankly to the hyenas, "Kill him." That's right, they just come right out and say it. They don't say get him or end him like in Star Trek Into Darkness. We get a breather from all the heavy drama when we meet Timon and Pumbaa, one of the best comedy duos of all time, played to perfection by Nathan Lane and Ernie Sabella. The Lion King has the dubious honor of being the first animated film to feature flatulence. Oddly enough, at the time, it was considered controversial by some for its crude humor. Certain parents groups made a big stink about it, but I say those windy gas bags should have stopped acting like old farts and just enjoyed the film. Fun fact, the singing voice for adult Simba during the now iconic song Hakuna Matata is Joe Williams, the son of Star Wars composer John Williams. Simba's been lying down on the job, so to speak, letting Scar run the Pride Lands into the ground, so Nala shows up to give him a little incentive to return. When Simba's feeling lost and alone, the most emotional and heartfelt moment of the film takes place as he sees his father in the clouds. We've all had times in our lives when we wish we could go back and change mistakes in our past, but this scene reminds us we are more than what we become, and that it's not too late for us to turn back and be who we were meant to be. When the directors pitched this scene to producer Don Hahn, it was so powerful, he said, "This is the movie," and that every other scene needed to be as good as this one. After talking to Ghost Dad, which Marvel totally copied in Black Panther by the way, Simba returns home, but the land is in such bad shape, he should call his pride the Detroit Lions. The climax of this film is grand and epic, from the roaring fire while the lions battle an army of hyenas to Simba and Scar's final conflict. The spectacle and atmosphere of this sequence is what we go to the movies to see. And after his victory over Scar, Simba takes his rightful place as ruler, and the land begins to heal. The circle is now complete. When he left home, he was but a child. Now he is the master. In the end, The Lion King is a true masterpiece in every sense of the word. From its breathtaking visuals to its moving score, the film shows what the medium of animation is capable of when artists pour their hearts into a project. Full of fun, emotion, and the important themes of redemption, The Lion King manages to share an important message while telling a gripping and heartfelt story. So for its artistry and craftsmanship, sense of scope and drama, impressive animation, perfect casting, memorable songs, characters, iconic imagery, and moving score, I give this film 5 out of 5 Death Stars. The Lion King is impressive. Most impressive. This has been Vader Reviews. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications, and follow me on Twitter @Vader Reviews. Join the Empire today. You do not yet realize your importance. Share these videos, and together we will rule the internet. And always remember who you are.